Thank you, Carol. Thanks for asking me, pushing me, inviting me to present a talk on the planning and leading of a CPD session at Durham University, as you said, last summer. Um, so I will be sharing with you the design of this CPD program, what inspired me and what, the underlying, let's say, principles for it. And I would like to present this as a model not as a model to replicate, but something like a design narrative that draws on EAP scholarship, teacher education research, and my own MA inquiry into teacher education development. And in the context of pre-sessional programs. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope it works. Yep. Can you see my screen? Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So, let me, don't, 1 minute. Oh. Why am I saying this? How can I minimize the... Oh, fine.
You manage?
Yeah, I'm fine. So, the pre-sessional CPD landscape, I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Pre-sessionals are cognitively, emotionally, and temporally demanding environments for teachers as much as for students. For me, a pre-sessional is like a pressure cooker. Everything happens faster, hotter, more intensely than in any other regular term course. And teachers, especially newcomers to the programs, must quickly adapt to institutional practices, assessment cycles, observations, culturally diverse cohorts and students, and the intense time pressures of summer teaching. So teachers are having a really hard time during pre-sessionals, especially when they're asked to take part in CPD sessions. And the question is, can CPD in a fast, intensive pre-session environment genuinely support teacher development? To me, it can. However, not in the traditional top-down form that we're accustomed to. CPD in pre-sessional context traditionally take this form, the top-down form. So an expert presenter presents a talk and on a fixed content, on a certain EAP issue. But there is very little teacher input, and literature suggests that these approaches fail to support teacher agency and sustainable professional growth. So what kind of CPD would be appropriate in such a context? My proposal recognized the bottom-up CPD form, which involves sessions to be practical, relevant, and responsive to teachers' needs. So in this context, in the pre-sessional context, I felt that CPD would work best as a shared kitchen rather than as a training session. So from top down to bottom up CPD was the idea, and inspiration came from the BALIP slow PIM at Queen Margaret University, where people had to add, posts to a Padlet. organized by our SIG, and a lot of ideas came from that Padlet, and the timing was perfect because it was in June, right before I had to design this program. I went to Durham, was asked to design the program, especially the work of Jenny Driscoll. Her article on scholarship on our own terms was really inspirational. She talked about organizing teachers' forums and structuring a program based on with teachers as central players. So this also resonated with my own MA research on sustainable CPD in the context of pre-sessional programs. And certain design principles underpinned this proposal. The first was that teachers would be a big part of the construction of the agenda, of the CPD agenda, and not just recipients of pre-selected topics. That CPD would be provided as a professional dialogue in a structured way rather than simply transmission. Aligning the CPD program with teaching and assessment rhythms was very important because recognizing teachers' cognitive load I felt was essential. And supporting teachers to see their pre-sessional teaching as part of an ongoing EAP trajectory, not just as a short-term thing. So timing I found was essential. That's why me and the managers organized the sessions to align with the pre-sessional rhythms, that is the assessment cycles, the feedback peaks and tutorial weeks. So we avoided having the sessions in weeks that were heavy with assessment feedbacks or tutorials. So recognizing when CPD happens communicates as much as what it contains. So that's essential for people to show interest. Research literature aligns closely with these principles, and the program began during induction week. I invited teachers to build the CPD program together. So rather than announcing the schedule, I gave out a survey and invited them to open discussion and asked them to identify their own priorities. The themes for the sessions emerged from their own, from things that puzzled them or from their own practice. And for example, they were interested in developing criticality, learner engagement, feedback load, and many of them were really interested in how to respond to the use of AI in writing. So this co-construction approach helped establish relational safety early on, right from the very, from session zero, as I call it, and signaled that teachers' knowledge was valued. At the end of the program, many colleagues commented that this made them feel heard and part of something, really important. And I think that's essential to keep people interested in CPD and to motivate them to participate actively, especially on a Friday afternoon. That's when the sessions were programmed. The program included 2 teacher forums and 2 discussion circles. So teacher forums aimed to support teacher-led presentations and ensure inclusive participation of teachers from both cohorts. And actually, I asked colleagues to volunteer to present in front of the others, successful teaching practices or things they experimented with or things that fell flat, as one very nicely said. So things that hadn't worked in class. My role was to chair, scaffold, and in a way organize and encourage reflective dialogue. The teacher forums, gave teachers confidence, and they created a community spirit and professional identity, which mirrored Gender School's findings. So I think that the fact that teachers were really engaged and really interested, although at first they were reluctant, is something that's really, really important. This confidence building and the sense of the willingness to engage more actively. In weeks 4 and 6 and 9, I think. Anyway, there were 2 discussion circles throughout the 10-week program. Discussion circles aimed to support teacher collaboration, inclusivity, and reflective dialogue. The teachers were asked to work in small groups using the prompts they were given. I had selected the prompts were drawn directly from their own classroom concerns, which were like expressed in the survey, the initial survey. The first discussion circle was built, let's say, around AI use in academic writing, and the second was a little bit more reflective. The discussion circles exemplified transformative learning by Mezirow, because teachers questioned their own assumptions and they expressed their own tensions and puzzles and reconstructed understanding through dialogue. So the fact that they shared their worries and their concerns and their, things that they challenge each other's assumptions, really helped them build this transformative learning.